It did on Saturday. I mean, extraordinary given it was a Grand Slam and a first one in Dublin. It did feel every bit as much about Johnny Sexton as about Ireland. I mean,
totally.
The palpable love for him was in the air. You would have a sense of what it's like to be, you know, at the centre of that, and also knowing that the horizon is coming and the end is coming. What do you think? Where is he in his head at the moment? Do you think he's loving rugby, or do you think he's feeling a certain pressure, or a bit of both?
Yeah,
celebrations were like, I'm sure you've seen the little shot of him over with his family when he did come off and he did this little handshake thing with his son. I mean, like, again, he does seem to be in a lovely, lovely place. What's your read on him?
Yeah, I think that's it. Strange, I'm actually out for dinner this evening for a charity event for Rob Carney's testimonial that's been called in. So I kind of look forward to hearing his take in real time about where he is. I get a sense that he's very excited about the remainder of the year. That, you know, the World Cup is the one thing that he hasn't won. He's won everything else. He hasn't won, I don't know if he's won European Player of the Year. That's an individual. But he's won Lions Tours, Grand Slams, captain, European Cups, multiple. Celtic Leagues, didn't win the top 14. Okay, so be it. But pretty much everything else that he's attempted to win, he has done. So the one mission is the World Cup, and I think there's huge excitement. I'm sure when you're 37 years of age and your body is on the wane, which naturally it has to be, and at times he looks as though he's pieced together, and there's no shock that England went after him a number of times, including that Don Brandt collision on him that I think was lucky to only get a penalty personally. But I think the overall feeling is a great excitement around what the potential of this team is later on in the year. So I think he's a very happy guy. He's got a great family set up. I think he's been a very, very successful captain, but had a hugely positive impact on the teams that he's been involved in, particularly this Irish team, and bringing along some of those younger players, and some of them are very mature. I think James Ryan, albeit he's only 25 or 6, is a very mature guy, beyond his years. And I get that impression with other guys too, that are 23, 24, 25, that they're in a very good headspace and not getting carried away. But I think the feeling amongst, I get, not that I've heard it, but I get the feeling that there's a huge excitement about the potential and the opportunity that lies ahead.
I remember Ron Nagara, when he came towards the end, talked about really enjoying the last year or two, like that you've achieved a certain amount and the weight's off. Maybe Sexton's in that place, although I'm sure he's very focused on the World Cup. Did you enjoy the last year, 18 months in particular?
Not really, because I was really, the body just didn't want to do what the head could still see and wanted it to do, and I found that incredibly frustrating.
He's not quite there.
No, I wasn't the same athlete, and that was not just in the final year. In the last couple of years, even the Lions tour I went on 2013, I wasn't the same player that I was, a few years previously. I was trying my best, but I was still of a particular standard, but I found it frustrating that these guys that were 10 years younger were more athletic than I was. I once possessed that, but it was leaving the building, and it's hard to see that go, and the uncertainty in your own head, even though it mightn't be projected in your performances per se, it remains a constant over the course of certainly from my last season, where by the end I was relieved to have gotten out without damaging reputation. And obviously the fact that you win at the end, papers over any cracks that might have popped up throughout the season, of which there were plenty. But and then leaving that thought that maybe there's a bit more. There wasn't. There really wasn't. I would have really let myself down in some capacity. I would have loved to have gotten to the next World Cup.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd have managed a full 15 months. I really don't.
Because he's in that borderline unique position of being at 37 and in his last few months, and everyone's saying, geez, he's playing great stuff, as good as ever.
Yeah, but there's a real cleverness a lot of the time. he plays it so square at the line, but I think he could see that rush defence coming, and he got himself out of those scenarios a bit quicker to not allow. In the past, his bravery would have undone him.
I remember you saying maybe he could let the pass go a touch earlier.
Yeah, but also even watching, a slightly lateral pass, where shoulders face the target. By the time he threw the pass before, it would have been ridiculously square, trying to commit the defenders on the inside, create space for those outside him. Now common sense is prevailing, where that huge blitz defence coming, if you take that square on, that fraction of a second release before a collision, a referee's going to let you away with it. Whereas if he throws the pass and goes downfield slightly with it, albeit you're not fixing as many defenders on the inside, there's a bit of self-preservation in that. And that, with him, I've said it before, with other 10s, they do it because they don't like getting hit anymore. I think he realises that he needs to do that, not to be picked off by people that are trying to get shots on him, of which Genge, Ribbons, Atoji, Don Brandt all tried to get shots. Don Brandt was probably the most forceful of them, but there was plenty of other very close calls where he just pulled himself out of his momentum going forward and pulled it back a bit. And so they realised when they came into the collision point that it was just too long a time between him throwing the pass and them being able to follow through on the tackle.
We won't begrudge him. Touch yourself.
No, it's clever. It's clever. In other cases, I'd be like, oh, getting a bit windy. Not in his case.
Come on, John. It's funny. Mick has just typed in. I've checked the internet. There's nothing about the baffler on.
There has to be. I think they did it. Australia against Ireland in the 99 Rugby World Cup 99. I think they did it, and we'd seen it. It was like, but we were we were confused. We should have renamed it the Confuser. We would have been confused running it.
Players of the tournament nominees are Keenan, Hansen, Doris, Dupont, Ramos, Damien Penaud.
They're great picks, aren't they?
Ooh.
They're great picks.
Do we have to take off our green tinted glasses and give it to Dupont?
Possibly.
Yeah.
He's still been exceptional. He's been exceptional. He has. I think because he's won so much over the last few years with individual accolades, I'd be reticent to give it to him on the back of but he's still, I think he's probably the best player in the world at the moment again, still.
Yeah.
And I think you would not argue the fact if he did win it. We love a vote though in Ireland. I don't know if they love a vote in France to the same degree. So it's based on punters voting. There's every chance we're going to. Yeah, we will. Whereas, I don't think they'd be like, no, not for me.
And of Keenan, Hansen, Doris, how do you separate them?
I actually don't know. I really don't know. I would have said definitely Doris before Scotland. But obviously he went off early and Conan came on and did a great job, and I thought he'd one of his quieter games at the weekend comparatively to the first three. I thought he was so good for us. Mac has had two player of the match performances, and Keenan has been so solid for us. He's been the foundation for all the great performances. There's this major security that comes with him and a confidence that comes with him. So I actually don't know. So pick Dupont. I don't know. I really don't know. You could pick any of them, and I don't think anyone would feel necessarily aggrieved. I think if you picked any of the four, I personally think. I don't know. I don't even think you can discount Mac. Because he's had two man of the match performances.
And he's great crack.
Yeah, God no. Like I would, when he holds, he'd hold that award in a strange pose when he gets it. So,
and even picking those three of the Irish, well, I don't know how many names you could see there. You could see another 5, 6
James
Irish
Ryan
names there. Yeah,
James Ryan's been outstanding.
Rob Kearney said Andrew Porter should be in the mix for a World Player of the Year shortlist.
Yeah. I understand that conversation. I think Porter is. I don't know if we said it on here before. Do you ever notice that when anyone makes a line break, Andrew Porter is nearly always the guy, even if he doesn't get him, he's the guy that's always chasing it down. Like, it's a really, really remarkable work rate that he has. Think the occasional foolish penalty can just not derail him, but just is 1 point taken off,
Yeah.
and you're going to need 10 out of 10 for World Player of the Year. But for me, I think he's one of our really important players, and I love watching him because it's all court play. It's handling, it's dirty work, it's scrummaging, it's holding chasing, and it's everything.
I was reading he can he can squat 350 kgs.
Okay.
3 Keen Heelys.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Can't even imagine the power.
Like, do you think you could even hold that on your back for like half a second? Like with two people? No?
Well, to be honest, I've no concept of what 300. Could I hold 3 Keen Heelys on my back? It's easier to imagine. Probably not.
I don't know. For a second, I think maybe.
Anyone else you want to mention from the 32 that played? Like a lot of really good performances. Clearly, Ryan Baird had a very good in you go. And
he did.
Big steals. We touched on him last night across the championship.
Jeez, you know, like besides the 2 tries, like his play in the loose.
His move to right wing, when is that happening?
His play in the loose, like some of that footwork. Him and Ryan Baird for footwork, they should be taking drills. And, you know, James Lowe and Mac Hansen, well, less so Mac, but James Lowe would be like, lads, how do you do that? We're getting his iPhone out and recording them to see their...
Would Lowe be more of a straight runner? Power?
Yeah, he's not a big stepper. No, okay. He's not. He's a power guy, and you know, and actually he's faster than he looks. You know, sometimes the lads used to take the piss out of me that when I got beyond 40 or 50 metres, they used to say the head went back and the parachute came out. And I used to start getting dragged backwards because that was usually down to fatigue. And there's a tiny bit of that in him, but like he finishes a lot of tries still from 60 out, 50 out. You know, so he's got to have some wheels, all right. But. Yeah, I think, Gibson Park, the difference that he made when he came in against Scotland in particular was really
underlined his credentials.
Really excellent. I think great to have Robbie Henshaw back. Just a workmanlike performance. Bundy, I thought, was very good against England. Really carried very, very well. Got advantage line, defended well. So not hard to fault too many.
Yeah.
You know, it was. In a crucial clutch game, you know, there was no one let the occasion get the better of them. I think everyone delivered a strong enough performance.
Not one yellow card either across the championship.
Was there not? No,
an Irish player.
Not one. That discipline is huge, isn't it?
Pristine.
It really is. It's huge.
It is extraordinary. There you go. That was but a taste of the full rugby conversation. As usual, you can get the full chat wherever you get your podcast. It's waiting for you right now.